Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's either very late at night in Europe, or it's going to go ahead and be a nice mid-afternoon for those of you tuning in from America. Hello and welcome back to the ESL ESEA Pro League. We're going to be kicking off with our third game of our second day here in our 4-day Counter-Strike event. And, well, we've got two interesting ones for you. Two semi-finalists locked in. We're going to be seeing Team Question Mark and Team Envy already with those secured. But also, we haven't seen our third map yet. Not one best of 3 has gone all the way, folks, and maybe, just maybe, these two North American teams, both Conquest and Liquid, could be changing that, potentially. Either way, I have some handsome men joining me. We've got Moses, Semler, and Sean. Boys, how you feeling about this matchup?
It's a little bit scary relying on the North American teams to provide us some third maps. It's a little bit scary.
Yeah, you're not sure, you're not putting your
relying
heart
on them
that.
for anything is a little bit.
Scaring us into too much NACS, maybe.
I want to see if I want to break this curse of the Pro League finals. Maybe, just maybe. I mean, so we started the topic of discussion surrounding Nitro Liege, and of course Mo turned up. That's going to be, it feels like that's going to be like, when we talk about Navi, we talk about, oh yeah, Guardian. It feels like when we talk about Liquid, we go, oh yeah, Nitro and Liege. That's like this pairing that have kind of formed, and I was wondering, you know, like, Jason, if I could just probe you a little bit more for the kind of background between these two, because they're a pairing that's not like a new thing, is it? Not a new concept.
The pairing of
Nitro and Liege.
Nitro and Liege specifically? Yeah, no. They've been together for some time, but like it was this weird situation where Nitro really wanted to be a lurker for a long time, and then James came on as coach and said, Nitro, we're gonna make him an Alper, and it's just like, okay, what do you guys think you're doing here? This is getting a little crazy, and it's just because Hiko joined that that they're able to have these really defined roles. We saw like that one ESEA event when Nitro was on that iBuyPower lineup where he was just a beast on entries. So everyone in the world is like, well, what are you guys doing? Not making him just tell him, just flat out make him be an entry fragger. Now that he's here, now that he has this duo with the Liege, they're the ones that start everything out for this team.
Absolutely. And I mean, like on the other side of things for Conquest, is there, like, who are the individuals that stand out to you as the kind of the playmakers, He's doing it again. August just gets lost. Like, we have to keep like clicking him back into the room.
Sorry,
Like,
I got distracted.
we're going to have to put like barriers up so you can't keep like making like sweet like eye connections with every single player.
That they're sitting like right there.
They are, like,
Sam's just looking over at me like, give me that wink,
spitting
And I'm like,
distance.
oh, what's going on,
So I was
Sam?
just asking
I'm
you.
watching you.
Who's standing out from Conquest? Is it Shazam? Is he the one? Yeah, so you got your eyes locked on him.
Conquest.
You're like, who are there? What's their roster again?
Yeah.
I picked Naf.
Yeah, there it is. Cool. Yeah.
Pick Naf.
I thought that was going to happen.
Rush. I pick Rush too. The guy sitting on that side right there.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Those are the big two.
He's the FPL leader.
So I don't know if it's clear or not, but Conquest obviously are not overappreciated on the couch.
Not at
it
all.
seems.
Not at all. I think that everybody has to strive. And it's always good to have an underdog in a story.
For sure.
And I think Conquest are pretty much, even in, like, I guess, NA terms, they're an underdog. Because, I guess, sorry, Sean, but Cloud9, they should have been here.
Yeah.
They aren't. So
I'm so glad you brought that
you're kind
up.
of expecting to see now, at least in like international tournaments, or at the top of the food chain in North America. We are expecting to see CLG, Cloud9, Liquid, and then the South American power, Luminosity.
That's
right?
our fault, right? Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so the fact that Conquest are here is actually a pleasant surprise because we don't get to see them that often, and especially not in an international setting. So it's a pleasure to watch. It's just unfortunate that we didn't really get the best show when we watched it. Well, we did get it in a way. We got a good show, but it wasn't the show that we were looking for. And Fnatic just basically did something unholy to them, and here we are. Lower bracket match.
That's exactly one of the most succinct ways of summarizing that best of 3. Sean, while I have you here, because we didn't have an opportunity to bring it up when we were doing like the initial where is Cloud9, I'm just going to kind of, I'm going to bring that up. I know it's not the most enjoyable topic.
Sean? Come on.
A few of us reside in California. We're around the land.
Yeah, I mean, you're turning up. You're just not quite present, and that's something that I'd love to know your take on it. Like there was I think Blue said it was 7 loss streak in a row.
Yeah. I mean.
Is it not like a kind of, there's no...
Why don't you relive it for us?
Yeah, I was going to say, where's that bottle of tequila real quick?
I think we need to low halfway through the season. A few people lost some desire and stuff like that. We got reignited towards the end of the season, but it was too late.
So is it just like a motivation issue at the end of the day?
I guess so. I guess you could call it that, somewhere in the middle of the season. Yeah.
I mean, we're on a couch, but he isn't paying us, and I don't know if we should be like, so tell us, how do you feel?
Yeah.
So kind of-
No, he should be lying down here, and you just, and how does that make you feel?
Here's the one thing we should mention is that, a month ago was the SCII LAN where Conquest actually did beat Liquid in a BO3.
True.
That was like the freak LAN where Conquest, just everyone showed up. I mean, they even took it to Virtus Pro. They beat Mouse Sports as well, I think it was.
Yeah. They had some great pistol rounds and post plants, though. They won a lot of clutches that LAN. I don't know. That'll be hard to replicate for them.
Yeah, that was like the LAN where Rush really showed up and was just a monster. And then they went to, it was like 2 weeks later, they went to the IBAN Power Tournament and just got destroyed out of it.
Yeah.
So it's still one of those situations where they haven't found their consistency quite yet.
Yeah, how do you cut it with Conquest then?
I really like Conquest as a team, actually. They have very aggressive players, and they're fun to watch. But when they play a team like Fnatic or NBS or teams with very great nade usage, they're going to get slaughtered because they're overly aggressive, they're too hungry to get frags, and they'll get demolished, just like Fnatic did to them yesterday. But a team like Liquid, those strengths can shine, and they can come through, and they can break through on key rounds, they can win clutches, they can get those pistol rounds needed. Yeah, this could be a good series.
Expecting quite a close one then. What are going to be the determining factors between the two of them is my question. Like, I mean, like, for example, with Conquest, if we were struggling, especially August was struggling to even give us the full 5 names. Who are these kind of like the sleepers on Conquest? Like Stanislaw is a name to me that is not one I've kind of seen an awful lot of in North American Counter-Strike. Is he, like, what's the story there?
I mean, he's had some good matches. He's just kind of one of those players that's been bounced around. He's always been the odd man out. Actually, this team is kind of characterized as just a bunch of odd men out on North American rosters.
Yeah.
Daps at one point was on Liquid. Shazam was, Cloud9 for a while, got bounced out. Naf was on Liquid at one point as well, I believe, and he got bounced out. So
Whole team was on Liquid.
This is basically like the Liquid rejects against Liquid.
What should they have called it? Yeah, exactly. The Liquid rejects and the North American rejects. There was a way to go about this, before Conquest.
Yeah, but here, Naf is the player who's many consider to be very underrated, especially in North America. He's very talented. We've seen him have some very impactful rounds online, Rush as well, and they've done it on LAN just in very isolated incidents.
So it's going to be a question of how much they can deliver in a best-of-3 setting. I think maps is going to be something I want to talk about now for that veto. So let's go ahead and bring that up and try and see how this one transfers and contrasts perhaps to the 2 European sagas we just saw unfold. Over in the North American battle, then you're going to be seeing an immediate Dust2 ban from Conquest, followed by the train removal by Liquid. And so the first 2 maps, no surprises. It feels like with the Pro League finals have been riddled with a whole lot of Inferno. Coming into this one, that was Conquest first pick and Cash the second. Starting with you, Jason.
Well, I mean, let's just say flat out, if Conquest doesn't win Inferno, this opening map, they might just be done. Like Cash and Overpass against Liquid, those are like the 2 maps they want to play. Like they're very happy with that. I'm actually surprised. Cobblestone as well. I actually, Liquid likes Cobblestone, but I actually would have much preferred Conquest to take them on that map versus Overpass. But Inferno is going to be the one that Conquest really has to do on us, or else they're just. I just think it's going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, this is an extremely questionable veto by Conquest.
Can we bring it back up just so you
leaving
can walk us through
Overpass
it?
in was a big mistake. That's, in my opinion, that's Liquid's best map. I don't know why they didn't pick it.
So you're suggesting that the first ban should have been different? You like what? Just take out Cash?
Yeah, I don't know why Conquest banned Dust 2. It's not even a map Liquid enjoys playing too much, to be honest.
You banned Cash against them.
Yeah, you banned Cash, you banned Overpass, you banned one of the stronger maps.
Was that like a panic pick?
I've got it.
Go.
Uh-oh.
They banned us too because they messed up. They thought that Mo was still here, that Elise wasn't, that they were going up against the God Hopper, and they just had to get rid of Dust 2. They had to get rid of Dust 2 because they knew it was too scary. They couldn't leave it in there. Mo would have wrecked them. Unfortunately, Mo isn't here, so I don't know.
Oops. Well, I mean, they had a questionable veto against Fnatic yesterday as well, where they picked Mirage right into it. Yeah. So I mean, that's weird too, because like, why are you picking Mirage into Fnatic? If you're that confident to do that, why aren't you picking Mirage into Liquid? Because Liquid doesn't like playing Mirage.
So I mean, two questionable vetoes. You're shaking your head an awful lot.
I'm just nodding.
This is all part of the game, right? Like it's before you even get into game, the veto is part of the game. And Conquest evidently maybe have made some questionable decisions. I'm going to throw this one straight at you, Sean, because like how much preparation do you think you can make towards a team? I mean, it's going to be it's pretty minor decision making for the veto. Like something you make up like 5 minutes before. Is it something you come in with a game plan? You come into a tournament like this is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing then.
Well, they played Liquid. Conquest has played Liquid. Liquid's played Conquest dozens of times in the last probably 2 months. They know the maps each other have the advantage on. So maybe they know something I don't know as far as head-to-head matchups. Maybe that's what they're using. And maybe scrim matchups. This is where they fared well.
Maybe. I mean, the third map's Overpass as well, which is one that we haven't seen.
Oh,
So,
Sean, you just set it up
we've
so
got
good.
third map,
Knock it out
and
of the park.
Overpass,
Knock
two
it out of the park.
potentials.
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I
Continue.
completely missed. What were you saying?
No. Go ahead.
What was it? Say it.
I think August was being a dank memer again.
Not at all.
What?
I'm a professional.
Evidently. Well, go. I mean, you got to make the point now.
No. Maybe it was something in scrims, you know? Maybe the North America
Oh,
scrims.
not again.
No,
Not
I
again.
love our scrims. I knew it.
Leave us alone.
I heard Megan and Blue laugh from over here.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you know, we
Looking
were
out for
winning
you
in
guys.
scrims, and so, oh God, no, not again.
It's a time-honored tradition, really. It's just what it is. It dates all the way back.
Can you just, because there's probably like about 30%, 40% of the audience who are sitting there going, what's he talking about? I don't understand.
It's true. It might be a little bit of a...
A bit vague for some people. Go, shed some light on this whole, this
Okay.
we win at the scrims mindset mentality.
Well,
Hold up. Let me pull out a Twizzler.
you ready for this?
It's story time. There we
Let's
go.
go.
Kick back.
You want to hop on my knee as well? Let me tell you a little story about North American CS.
Okay, hit us.
So, kids, it was a cold winter for North America in the warm
Well, let me
world of
get in on
CS
that.
in
That was
Europe.
good.
And unfortunately, after trudging around in the snow for many hours, the snow, the bleak vastness of North American CS and scrims. Unfortunately, North America, they decided that struggle in the scrims. Hiko's looking at me. That struggle in the scrims, really made them tough men. Really made them, hard. You know? They went into Europe, where the true hard men live,
Yeah.
and got wrecked. He got wrecked.
You really built up that climax.
That was like-
story right there.
The ending is so shattering.
I'm sorry, they're looking at me now too. I hope they can't hear me because they need every shred of dignity they have. But we're over here. It's close. It's not good. North American CS. They put a lot of focus on scrims and the results that they got in scrims by thinking that perhaps those would somehow equate to a real match. So they went into it with the wrong mentality, thinking that, oh, we're winning rounds, we're winning scrims, and then that give them this false sense of confidence going up against teams that were treating scrims like, well, actually, we're just going to practice this strat 10 times, and that we're not actually winning. We're just looking to refine our game. So lo and behold, North America would come in really confident. They'd get shattered and be like, whatever happened? We were doing so well in scrims, and never be able to recover, and get into tournaments. So that's why, when Sean, I just couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I just completely destroyed
It's
this
been fair,
panel.
though.
I'm done.
That is
I just
something
completely destroyed
you
this panel.
can.
This is just an opportunity for you to show off your socks.
Here it is.
Yeah, I think he's almost on par with fifth with that, actually. I mean, the fifth game, the sock game's strong. I like my approach with the socks. I call it the rather minimalist sock approach.
You see, if
What do you
this was
think?
50 years ago...
Oh, look at that. You got an ankle shot. I want that back.
I know,
Look at that.
I know. Careful, Alex. I got to calm down now. I need to take a walk outside.
Oh, there it is. Hello. Oh, yeah.
Just a little... Oh, yeah.
Okay, anyway, we get really sidetracked. What are we doing? So let's talk Liquid. We haven't even discussed
Yeah,
their
reel us
roster.
back in, Alex.
Yeah, okay, look at us. Whew. I'm this person that's supposed to be bringing it back down to earth, so let's do that and talk a little bit about this roster. So we discussed Alicia's made his return after his exams yesterday. His team, of course, not managing to secure the win without him. Of course, it was going to be a tough one. No questions about that. Fugly and Adrian as well, rounding out that roster with Hiko. The stream jabs have already come out from August, but we'll talk a little bit about Hiko because he's one of these interesting individuals, I think. That everyone has this kind of different, a preconceived opinion about Hiko. Some of them regarding him as one of those top players in North America. When there was this whole kind of debacle and everyone was like, oh, Hiko's making his own super team. This is it. North America's going to have a great team. Everyone regarding Hiko as one of the greats of North America. However, there's now this argument that suddenly he's kind of not necessarily found an instant success, and now everyone's kind of this counter argument I've seen on social media where they're like, actually, no, Hiko's not that great. Like, why is this kind of split across the community surrounding Hiko?
There's some crazy people out there, Alex.
Right. So you, Jason,
Yeah, I'm on the side.
You're on which side?
I think he's a fantastic player. My only real qualm with this play ever is that I want, for the amount of aim and talent that he has, I'd like to see him get more involved early on in rounds. But you can't question the fact that he is the best clutch player North America's ever had. He's had just so many stellar rounds where he saves the day for them in incredible situations that it just seems impossible. You talked about it yesterday, Sean, during clutch situations. I think we were referring to FNX on LG, is you have to make your opponent make the mistake. You have to find ways to do that. And Hiko is so incredibly good at it, whether it's utilizing footsteps to make somebody peek. He's got that high sensitivity, so when he goes into a bomb site to retake it, you know, he gets a lot of information very quickly, and he uses it perfectly.
Yeah, Spencer's still top 3 player in North America. He's lights out all the time. Never has a fail or anything like that. And I would say the situations that he gets put in that are bad are often caused by his teammates who are playing too aggressive around him.
Here, you know, here's one interesting thing too, though, and I think Liquid suffers from this a little bit, especially you notice it against the Euros, and I think you guys in Complexity suffered from it for a little bit. Some time is like the Hiko effect of where he's winning these 1-on-2s, 1-on-3s, even sometimes 1-on-4s pretty consistently, regularly, and all of a sudden you look at your scoreline for that half and you're like, oh man, we put up like 10 rounds. But like you don't think about the fact that, you know, you weren't supposed to win those rounds. You guys actually got crushed strategically, but Hiko's just there to bail you out. So I think there's kind of that where, you know, maybe all the successes he has kind of prevents yourself to really criticize or being critical of your own gameplay.
I can contribute constructively for once as well.
Oh my God.
It's really, I know. So what's really impressive from Hiko for me is that, you know, speaking of bleak vastness and cold, dark, and just vacuum, is that this guy, he was cast out into the wild for quite some time. And if it weren't for the whole iBuyPower match fixing scandal, you know, he was actually trying to build what was, in his eyes, the super team of North America that would be able to go on and, you know, really confront the European titans, you know, who were just dominating the scene. And if it weren't for that, well, that just complete. I mean, you guys can find it. It's all over the internet. You guys, you know, if you're unfamiliar with some of the recent history, you know, he was cast out into the wild for what, like 6 months, half a year, if not more. I think it was like 8 or 9 months before he got to play another LAN.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy that he's actually he was able to maintain the motivation to go through with it, and to also maintain such a high level to be able to continue to still come in. And then it was like he hadn't stopped the day. He just came right back in and started clutching again. So. That's what's really impressive for Hiko. Now I think, you know, it isn't, Hiko really gets his time to shine because his, like you guys say, right, you know, his teammates around him put him in these sorts of situations by making mistakes, being too aggressive, and then Hiko has to come in and save him. That's what's a real pleasure to watch now with Liquid, is that he doesn't need to do that so much anymore. His teammates have actually got enough experience now where they're learning, they're evolving, and now we get to talk more about players like Nitro and Elige.
Bingo.
And they're the ones now who are, like, you know, taking the front charge. And if they're doing their jobs, Hiko doesn't really have to do too much. You see him sitting with like single digits at the end of the half because he didn't really have to clutch. He was just lurking, watching flanks. He would get a key kill here or there, but
That's the funny part, is because, you know, he is their superstar, but when they win matches and he's sitting around like 7 or 8 kills, you're like, all right, everything went well for Liquid.
everything went well, right?
That's
Exactly.
perfect. And that was the point you made, Jason, you know, surrounding this reliance on Hiko occasionally, whereby you're winning rounds and you're seeing good numbers because of these clutches, these ridiculous rounds he's won. When you know, he has an off day, an off round, suddenly you're like, well, hang on a second, this is where the inconsistencies start to be visible, because you're like, oh, we won that game and then we lost that game immediately after. The one difference is Hiko not doing what Hiko normally does, and so that can be causing a kind of upset. So now I want to do predictions, boys, for this game. It's going to be the first map only. No spoiling, Jason. None of this like, oh, I'm going to go the whole series prediction. Just the first map. Restrain yourself.
Just the first map. You know, I mean, I know this is Conquest pick, and I'm hoping they have something prepared for it, but I'm just going to go, I think, you know, talent-wise, I think team-wise, Liquid's a better squad. I'm just going to go for Liquid.
Okay.
I have to actually side with that as well. Go with Liquid. They just have more experience as a roster right now. More experience on LAN as this unit, and with Nitro and Elige, everybody, you know, as we keep mentioning, really hitting shots. If they come in here and wreck, I find it hard to believe after the Conquest that we saw yesterday that they'll be able to, you know, come in here and put a stop to that.
First map Inferno?
Yes. Right, yeah.
I'm going to go Conquest.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
That's not like
You've
an
been on
unlikely
point today,
situation.
so
No, Liquid isn't very strong on Inferno. They have some holes in the B-bomb site in particular. Spencer is locked down in B, but I think Elige is a little bit too aggressive as the rotator in the B-bomb site. Fugly's been having a little bit of troubles in the pit area. Dren plays Rap, and Nitro will play lane. Their A site even has weaknesses too. Their default's really predictable. You can read whether they're going A or B. I think Conquest is going to be able to stack the bomb sites that Liquid's hitting, and they're going to run into some trouble. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, the key to Conquest's defense on this map is Shazam. He plays solo Rap side with the AWP every time he has it. If they keep that out of his hand, I'm not sure that Conquest really knows the best way to defend it if Shazam doesn't have an AWP.
Yeah. I think Liquid has the better players. I just think Conquest might have the better Inferno.
Okay. Sean just dissecting their Inferno. This is the values of having you not over there but here, I'm afraid. But thank you very much for that, guys. It looks like it's going to be a proving ground for Conquest and trying to change the minds of both Moses and Semler as it's time to throw it to your casters. And who better for this North American battle than two North Americans proving their worth? It's going to be Mega Man and Blue. Take it away, you handsome duo.
All right. Thank you very much, Rashid. And indeed, it'll be the NA casters, quote-unquote, for this matchup. How you doing, Mega Man?
I'm doing very, very well, Blue. Good to be back at the caster desk, ready to rock and roll for some Inferno action to start this one off. It should be a pretty exciting matchup. You know, one of the things that they actually talked about was Conquest on Inferno, and they kind of got walloped yesterday, for a lack of a better term.
Trampled.
Yeah.
Many verbs we can use to describe it, unfortunately.
And I actually spoke to a couple of them afterwards, and they said that actually the biggest part about their inability to do well on a lot of the two maps that we saw was the fact that they only won one pistol round yesterday out of the 4. And we saw it actually happen on their CT side, and then they kind of ran the gambit coming back on Fnatic. So I think one of the things to facilitate a good Inferno is going to be picking up those pistol rounds early on and getting that early couple of rounds on the board to kind of invoke that confidence moving forward.
Well, not just this, but there was quite a few players yesterday from the side of Conquest as well that were having a whole load of problems with just making progress and picking up really any frags at all. Stanislaw, on this map specifically here on Inferno, is one player that comes to mind. He was really struggling to get the ball rolling for himself, and to some degree we saw that with Rush a little bit as well. So if those guys continue to have the problems they had, then things could be rough here once again for Conquest, and we could very well see Liquid take the first map. But we are going live into the knife round now, so let's take a look at who is going to get that very, very important first side choice.
Yeah, and this is pretty big because obviously Conquest are the ones that chose this. I was kind of surprised that they went back to this after playing Fnatic on it yesterday and losing 14-1 when they were on the terrorist side. So we'll have to see how they adapt to this. If they can get this knife round, that's going to pay dividends for them in the long run. But right now they're making it very, very difficult, and it's going to be Daps, the last man alive. Nitro finishes him off. So Liquid most certainly going to be starting off on the CT side here. I can't see a reason why they would ever imagine going T. But one of the other things I wanted to touch on real fast before we got into this matchup was if we do actually go to a third map, if we do go to Overpass, that is a map that is actually kind of a bit of a toss-up for me personally because Liquid throughout the season were very, very strong on it. One of their better maps. They played it internationally against some top teams and done very well on it. Conquest, however, in regards to playing against North American competition, they're actually undefeated on Overpass. They're 7-0 on that map, 100% win rate. So that map for me, you know, I want to see Inferno go Conquest's way. I want to see Liquid take cash. If it goes to a third map, it could be a brawl.
Yeah, Conquest actually caused one of the bigger upsets of the season, if I remember correctly, when they took on Cloud9 back over on that map on Overpass. But we can talk more about that later, and of course, we can leave that to our analysts as the pistol round has begun. And Shazam, who better to start it off, picks up 2 kills right from the beginning of it. Both the Liege and Nitro get decked to the head. He drops into Mexico, kills those 2 players, and even Fugly here as well, down low at just 6 HP.
Yeah, that was massive. They went for early aggression on the Liquid side, pushing straight down mid, going for a little no respect in the pistol round, but it's going to be Stanislaw with the assist from Shazam to clean out Hiko, and that's going to be that A bomb site open for business. They're going to get that bomb plant, and with Fugly sitting on 6 HP to come in for this retake, Nafly is in a great position here to do some damage. He's going to find that frag, and he's looking for the second one. He gets it, and Conquest with a flawless pistol round, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Get that early momentum.
Liquid 2 get the information as to what's going on so late because they're pressured both on Banana along within that middle area, so they have no clue how to react to this one. And those final 2 players, there's really no chance for them to get that retake to begin with. It's a 2-on-5 situation. They're already locked out of the site. It's just not going to be plausible for those 2 guys to pick it up. So immediately Conquest will be going for their buys here. And we see a bit of an interesting one. 2 rifles as normally would part the course along with 2 SMGs, but Naf actually going for the auto shot. A bit of revenge from yesterday.
Maybe,
I imagine
yeah.
Wants to beat out his frustrations with the very gun that beat them down on almost.
Yeah, that was actually, it's funny that you bring that up. In the 15th round, the last time around against Fnatic, it was a 5-man push down mid with auto shotguns, the old leaf blowers from 1.6, as we like to call them, or the noob tube. So this time, Nafly is going to be wielding that very powerful auto shotgun, and we'll see. It looks like they're going to be gearing up to go towards the banana hallway, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to lead with Daps. He actually gets team flashed, I believe, by one of his comrades, but it's going to be over on the other side of the map where Fugly takes down Shazam, but here comes the frags. It's going to be Stanislaw and Rush to find a couple. Nitro's there there, but there's that auto shotgun. Naf finds one more. He's got to compete with Hiko on the backside of the site, but Hiko staying alive here. He's going to go for the knife, but he's not going to be able to get it. Stanislaw does take him down, but this is a very close round here for the first anti-eco out of possibly 2. And if Adren pushes this smoke, he might be able to find somebody out. That bomb is actually up on top of the fountain, but Rush going to go ahead and take him down.
The Hiko situation kind of stinks there too, because he's stuck behind Nubox after his teammate gets pressured, and he is able to peek back outside of there and pick up a response kill to it, but I don't believe he's fully aware that there was actually 2 players pushing at that time, so he's then boxed in at that point and just completely outgunned. So Conquest are going to be able to find their second round, and of course now we do see that shotgun now being ditched. It'll just be normally part of the Corsairs. Naf is going to go for the P90 instead, so it's the normal 2 rifle, 3 SMG buy just to stack up some cash here on round number 3 as Liquid. Well, they're literally not going to be bringing anything to the table this time. It's just their USPs.
Yeah, not really much for the fight this time around, and you can see the Molotovs raining into the top side of B, so banana control already starting to look very important as far as Conquest is concerned. Nice shot from Shazam, though. Snaps up, takes down Fugly, and that's going to be the early man advantage here, but the nades over the top of the B bomb site. Nafly going to chime in with one onto Adren.
That is directly on point, too, so I think he fully dies just due to that one grenade. That's an ace nade that comes out there now, and we can see these players just slowly pushing in, executing them one by one. Hiko holding back over here in Emo corner. At the very least, picks up 1 kill, but ultimately, it's the 3-0 from Conquest to set things up as we head into the first gun round. But with Liquid having the problem finding the kills that they do, of course, there's not really going to be a whole lot of bonus cash, so for on quite a few of these players from Liquid, we're not going to be looking at the best utility buys.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, you can actually see Hiko, he's yet to buy any nades. There you go. So they are going to have a little bit of utility to work with, but no head armor on a couple of the players. And the big factor of that is it's not a full rifle buy here on the T side either. They stuck with the ump on Shazam to get more money in the bank, and Daps is on that P90, which could do some serious damage to these non-head armor players on the CT side. And you can see, actually, it's only Hiko that has head armor, so this could be detrimental to them, and these SMGs could do some serious damage.
There's this really aggressive stack back over here just outside of B, but unfortunately it's getting naded out by Conquest. So this is really well played because they know exactly how this is playing out, and now they can make that forward progress, and they've already done a really good amount of damage to the members of Team Liquid. Nitro's down at 15, Adren's at 67, and he's actually rotating in simply because Shazam, once more, is making all this noise over here, and they think that the play is going to be coming in towards this site, but this is not the case right now. All that pressure is going to shift over towards both Hiko and Nitro. Nitro's already very low, and he's not playing in a very good position to hold this. He's going to be relying on Hiko to do a lot of the work, and then he can hopefully just peek back out and find some more of it. However, at the same time, we can see Conquest are playing it very slow, as Shazam is going to try to open up that ulterior angle. It will not work, however, with Adren taking him down. Now comes the execution from Conquest.
Yeah, it's going to be Hiko to lock this down, but he gets traded out immediately. Rush goes right back at him. It's Nitro at the second oranges. He should get cleared out, but he's actually going to be able to find Rush. They spam him through the smoke and take him down, so it's an even trade in that B bomb site. And Daps through the smoke, finds Adren, takes him out. It's a 2-on-2 retake situation. And again, the last 2 players have no head armor. Stanislaw is going to be able to take down a Legion. It's all up to Fugly in a 1 versus 2. Both T-side players very low right now, but they've got a healthy crossfire here. But Stanislaw actually a little antsy. He's going to take that peek and actually loses that battle.
The plant position is fairly good here, though, for Daps to try and close this one out. He can be very passive about this. Just sit back over here, just outside of Banana, and wait exactly for that defuse to come in. But yep, no kit either. So Fugly, he's going to have to try and retreat, maybe go for the duel, but Daps speaks it at a perfect time and actually wins that versus his opponent there. So it'll be 4-0 from Conquest. A lot of damage done as Liquid take down 4 out of 5 of the members, but ultimately now Conquest get their starting advantage here on T side. This is going to be a very big deal, as this is to some degree actually part of the course for Conquest. We are used to seeing this from them. They're actually one of those North American teams that is a little bit more dominant on their T side on Inferno comparatively to the CT side. So this is a great start and is exactly what we expect from this team to start things off.
Yeah, one of the things to note, because of that, they like to dictate the pace of these pushes, and you can see actually fully aware that this is going to be an eco round. That nade actually tremendous damage. Nitro's down to 12 HP now. Back-to-back nades. Hiko playing behind sandbags, but it's Rush to open up. Elige goes down, but I was saying the economic damage is going to be done this round if Naf can pick up some frags with that MAC-10 and be the high bank for his team for future rounds if they do start to lose a couple. But Conquest off to a very, very solid start. Getting the first opening 4 rounds and putting them right back on a save. Keep that money down on the CT side. Don't allow them to put the AWP in Adren's hands. Don't allow them to have that full utility.
Hiko getting so aggressive, pushes out, gets 1 kill, gets the intel on 2 more, but has to fall back. However, again, we can see these teammates now setting up for a push in, but Conquest, they may be dissuaded away from this position now because of that aggressive movement. So they're going to wrap back out and go to A, and this is perfect because the defense over here on the A side is extremely weak. Liquid are going to try to rotate in, but unfortunately, there's not going to be a whole lot they'll be able to do. It all pulls on Fugly picking up something, and we just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, he's at least aware that they're coming in towards his site. He spots one in pit, but he doesn't take the shots. It's going to be Rush down there to trade blows with him. He was maybe trying to bait that a little bit longer, but Rush does turn and spots him there. A couple of players over here behind the smoke at Moto's side, and again, Fugly just trying to pop some shots and distract for his teammates to get into a better position. But with it being a 4-on-3 retake on a eco round for Liquid, it's not going to be possible for them to get in. So it looks like they're going to set up for some exit kills, try to take some guns away, try to do some economic damage here to Conquest, because having 4 alive definitely bodes well for them as far as the economy game is concerned. And they're going to exit as a team, and this is a right move, except for Rush, who sticks around a little bit. They might go for a ninja defuse, or at least try to keep him honest, and that's going to be a Dren actually coming around the backside. They all perish.
That was actually really good from I think it was Rush there picking up the kill just before he goes down. He's getting shot from behind him, but he's the 180 spin and takes him down. And thankfully, somebody else from Liquid comes in to pick up the trade, so they get that economical damage done. And again, losing those slight pistols from Liquid is going to be the biggest deal in the world, but that's a good pickup from him. And Conquest still leading strong, but now we go into another buy run from Liquid, and the up has been picked up from a Dren. But we have to see how well he can perform, as this has been something that's been a big question from Liquid in the past.
And you know, previously, at least in pregame, we were talking about who's your player to watch, and Nafly's name came up. He's actually started this match off 8-1. Rush is behind him, I believe, with 5 frags or 6 frags as well. Yeah, he's 5-2. Stanislaw at 6-1. So starting off very strong here on the T side. So they're doing work, and now it's going to be a fast push up through brackets in mid. Nitro and Fugly going to get the opening kills, and Fugly so strong from this pit. Nitro and Fugly just lock it down. That 8 push decimated in the matter of seconds.
Again, yesterday we saw Fugly. He was definitely one of the stronger contenders, at least coming from the core roster of Liquid in their match versus Envy, and he's just proven it once again. Nitro too, getting his gear and grind here, and now we're going to be able to pick up a 3K for that round. And finally, we see Team Liquid as well picking up their first round score here now, getting onto the board. But for Conquest, they're not done just yet. This is going to be an aggressive response to it. All 5 players still going for the full buy, and now we see what path they are going to take. But at the same time, Liquid, at least to some degree for Elige, along with Hiko, they pushed themselves out, but there's a lot of molly and there's a lot of nades overall being thrown out here too, so it's going to hold both teams back. Shouldn't expect any real combat to start here for a couple extra moments.
Well, moments indeed. Hiko's going to be able to find Shazam almost immediately after you finish your statement. The trade almost does go out. Hiko down at 13 HP. His teammate Elige is actually going to fall back and join him in the site as well. And one of the things to note going through this map is Fugly. You know, we've kind of discussed his play before. He's very consistent as far as Liquid is concerned. But in the North American scene, Fugly, I will go ahead and say it, he is the best pit player on Inferno, CT side, for North America right now.
I need a very bold statement.
I have no problem saying that. I bet Moses might actually even back me on that.
We'll see if he agrees, and we'll see if that holds true here for the rest of this half. As again, Conquest, after losing Shazam very early on in this round, are actually a little bit timid. You can see they're sort of scattering around the map, trying to see exactly how they want to, taking it slow. However, for Team Liquid, while all their smokes are gone, they still have a lot of mollies and want to try and hold this off, and to use for retakes too. So Conquest are never really going to be in a secure spot just as of yet. Now the push comes back in over here towards the A site, but as you can see, it's just going to be, it's actually a bit of a strange one there, because Daps kind of walks in almost on his own, and he's going to get picked off, and now just they're feeding another one there. That goes towards a Dren. He's ready. He's able to pick up that another kill there. And the final 2 from Conquest, they'll make an attempt to push into the B site, but it's set up. He goes a little bit low, so they take him down. They may have a chance, but they're looking towards Elige first. He's going to get dropped. The Dren finding that kill, and then Hiko finding the second, shuts it out. Liquid indeed will find their second round here.
Yeah, that's just nice patience from Hiko. You know, they had a crossfire over there in that B-bomb site. It's just unfortunate that Elige goes down before he's able to get the support from Hiko. But Hiko actually takes the back player first and then gets the one swinging around on Spool's side. So nice job, 14 HP. And they're able to prevent the bomb plant as well. So it's going to be a save round now for Conquest. They're going to pick up some pistols. It's going to be a Tech 9 for Daps, a Desert Eagle for Shazam, and the rest are just going to go onto the P250s. But we'll see what kind of damage they can do. But that nade down mid is going to find some heavy damage. Double nade, actually. And that's that smoke clears. Adren trying to pop a shot down through mid to find that player on T stairs, but he's not going to be able to connect just yet. Now you've got a very aggressive play up towards mid with a lot of the terrorists encroaching on that bracket control.
That pressure, as we said before, now coming up through the mid choke point, trying to find a way. And Liquid, they've been very passive about this so far. They've been letting the members of Conquest get full control of it, but now they're going to start to wrap around. This falls onto a Trend to single-handedly try and hold this off. The smoke comes back in from the T's, and now they've opened up the flank angle. They're going to go through arches and try to go for a B pinch instead. Unfortunately, they have nobody working themselves up towards Banana there, so Elige has that freely, and they actually might try to mind game this a little bit, because you can see they're actually starting to post up a little bit over here towards CT spawn, and they're going to try to hold themselves out, see if they can catch any bit of early rotation here, but it's not going to be the case. They're stuck, and Liquid, for the most part, seem to be holding their ground.
Yeah, the big thing about this right now is Hiko in the back lines here in in the construction side, he's going to be able to see any of these players pushing on up. But with Elige pushed outside of the site, if they do decide to double back towards the A-bomb site, he's going to have a fast flank through middle, as well as the 3 players that are already over there. But it's going to be Hiko. He's going to be able to find one, looking for more. He's got plenty of bullets to do it, but he can't get it done. He actually daps through the wall, but he goes down in the long run. So it's Elige at the top side of Banana to try to lock this one down. But at this point, he should just wait, because look at the reinforcements. Look at the, oh my God, never mind. Shazam just annihilates him, but the push is coming back around through Banana. All 3 CTs filtering in from the same spot. Shazam goes down. Fugly with a nice shot to Spools, but it's Stanislaw with the salvaged AK. Going to be able to take down Fugly. Adren back into him, so it's down to a 2 versus 2 post plant. No armor here on the terrorist side, so this is going to be very difficult. Aim punch is going to be a big factor, and that early peek coming out from Daps is not going to yield them anything, and Nafly gets sprayed down. Nice control from Liquid's Nitro, and that will be a 3rd round now in a row for Liquid.
Here we see one of the problems from Conquest that happened again yesterday starts to surface once more. They set themselves up, but the setup is assuming the Wrath is going to come over towards C2. They don't really account for anything to come towards Banana, and they wait a really long time with those final 2 players inside of construction. No guns were being picked up there. They had really no additional utility or whatnot to use coming into that round, so it's pretty obvious from once they even that out down to a 2 versus 2 that the remaining members of Liquid are just going to be able to easily close that back out. So that's a bit of a mistake from Conquest going for a setup like that, and unfortunately they pay the big price to it. Good progress being made for what they bring into that round economically, but it could have gone a completely different direction if they just set that up a little bit differently.
So again, we're going to go back onto the rifles, and this is another thing to note as well. Shazam hasn't had the AWP. Now again, that's something that we don't tend to see favored on the terrorist side of Inferno, but that is definitely a gun that he is extremely strong with. But the push is already up. It's a fast play up towards truck side, and Rush is going to open up onto Nitro. They've got one more to beat in the backside of that site. It's going to be a Dren. Fugly again from the pit. He's going to find 2 before he gets traded, and like I said before, his pit play is very, very strong. Backside of that Jesus pole is going to be able to find 2 kills, but now they got Nafly over here, and he hits a snapshot onto Hiko, takes him down, spots Elige as well. So now they know that this player is going to be up on bracket side. Elige does manage to get that 1 kill out of the way. That's going to leave 1 HP difference between these 2 players as he tries to bring this back in this 2v1. But Stanislaw hiding from Graveyard, takes the peek, takes the fight, and wins the battle. 6-3 now for Conquest.
I would like to see Conquest exercise B a little bit more here, because I honestly think this is a bit of a weak spot with the way that Liquid have currently set themselves up. Elige, unfortunately, does not seem to be on this game right now. That blast round, that was the first kill he got all game so far. He has not picked up any other kills besides that. Hiko seems to be looking okay, but again, that's basically like a one-man defense at that point. Elige just hasn't really been consistent as of yet, and he's playing with Hiko a lot of the time on these aggressive pushes. So if Conquest try to punish that, they could shut them down very, very easily at the beginning of this and get site control, and that could be a key thing on this map, especially with how slow the communication seems to be to a certain degree for Liquid.
Yeah, and again, we're going to actually see a bit of a force up here, but it's fast mid play, and it's a Dren to find 2, almost gets the 3rd. 12 HP left for Rush, but spamming the smoke. Nitro is going to be able to clean him up, as well as Fugly with the Mag 7 takes down 1 more, and Nitro access denied. Stanislaw down on porch side, and a very quick round. Team Liquid picking up a 4th.
No real attempt from Conquest to try and really punish things there. They just essentially try to go for quick control over there, getting themselves through the mid choke point, but Liquid are ready for it, and there's never really a big response that comes out from Conquest that time. So that's a bit of a mistake from them, and economically now this is going to cost them huge, because they've just won a round, and now they've been reset, so they're right back down onto this eco. It should only end up being just this one here, as I believe they can force up pretty well, not really even a force at that point. I believe they can buy it pretty well after this round, but now it's about, once again, trying to make do with what they have in this 11th round.
And it kind of to touch on what you were talking about before about favoring going back towards that B bomb site. You can see 2 out of the 3 rounds that they've gone very aggressive towards that A bomb site, Liquid has just completely shut it down. It was a truck side push with Fugly and Nitro locking it down. This time it's Dren and Nitro. So that A bomb site, you know, there's that, like Moses was saying before, that yield sign that TSM has over there. But it's going to be that push down B, and it only gets 1 out of that, which is kind of curious. But it's Hiko, the 3-man mowdown, going for a 4th, and not able to get it just yet. 2 bullets left, but he's going to fall on back. Not going to give anything away at this point, and it will be a 1 versus 4.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to Elige at the very least. Again, gets that set up, because he only manages to grab 1 kill, but he gets a decent amount of damage onto the rest of the team. So this allows Hiko, for the most part, to just come in and mop things up. Does eventually have to fall away from it because he's down at 24 HP, and they do need to make sure they keep their CT side economically balanced. But then, I mean, it's Nico anyway from the members of Conquest, so they're very easily able to shut things down from that point forward. And now, again, as we were saying before, we go into another buy from Conquest. Going to be limited to a certain degree here, as we can see both Shazam and Naf have chosen to go for utility over their rifle buys, and because of that, we're going to see the 2 Tech 9s, but the Tech 9 is still a very capable gun, and this should not stop them from being able to work around victory.
One thing to note as well, Shazam sitting at, I believe, 4 kills at the moment. 2 of those were in the pistol round, and 1 of those was on the eco round from Spools with that Desert Eagle headshot. So he's kind of been a non-factor going into these buy rounds, and that was something that we talked about before. How effective is Shazam going to be? He hasn't had the AWP yet, and his productivity is kind of low right now, and that can kind of be reflected because it's really falling on Nafly, Rush, and Stanislaw to open up these rounds on Conquest's side, which they have done so far. But once they get that whole package together, it's going to be a little bit more scary for Liquid because they're already at 6 rounds on T side.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it seems from Conquest yesterday, it was, as we see the combat beginning here now, Adren picking up Shazam, but then Stanislaw finding a good response to that. This should give them mid choke point control. The problem yesterday for Conquest was you saw 2 really big fraggers, and yesterday that was Shazam along with, I think it was Naf for the most of it. Today it's actually a little bit different. Today you sort of have Stanislaw and Naf fulfilling that role, and it's good to see because Stanislaw again was struggling a little bit yesterday, but now Shazam has basically flip-flopped with him. He's dropped back down, and he's the one that's starting to have all these problems. But from Conquest again in this round, we see them trying to push their way through, get Arch's control, maybe make that B push, but with Hiko already being as well rotated around as he is, there's no way they're going to be tricked into this. And still, they're just so awkward with trying to make their way into a site. Fugly's going to be able to grab 1. Daps will look for a response to it. They have managed to get the bomb down too, so it's not like Conquest can move away. They're committed to this one. However, that bomb is in a very awkward spot, so they should be able to roll and grab it. Daps, good to pick up a kill, but Hiko's going to find a response. Now, unfortunately, because of all these trades, Zan is put into a 1 versus 2 scenario.
He at least gets the bomb down. He knows where they're pushing from them, but that flashbang is perfect. Elige going to be able to mop that one up. It's a 2-man stand at the end, so the economy's still not that healthy for the Liquid side, but they've at least equalized now. They're 6-6 going into the 13th round now, and with that bomb plant, that will enable another buy round to come out here from the Terrorist side. I expect to see, well, actually, it looks like they're going to go for a save. They've got Tech 9s and some body armor as well, so they're going to play it a little bit safe here because they do have 6 rounds, so they do have a little bit of a cushion moving into the second half if they do lose out at this point. So they're going to play it safe, and I kind of like the idea of going for this little quasi-buy, as Simler likes to call it.
In terms of where Conquest are now going to take it here, it's going to be an attempt to make an aggressive push up Banana, even running through Molotovs too, but for Daps that does not work out too well. They actually don't expect the second player to roll forward, but Elige picks up that second frag anyway, has some great support coming in from Hiko to hold him back, but the frags continue to roll now for Team Liquid. As a Dren, he's going to find another one over here on the stand, and then they just finish them off 1 by 1. Fugly coming out with a final 2. Not a whole lot of progress being made by Conquest that time, unfortunately, and a great hold from Liquid.
What a confusing round. 2 players die at Banana, 1 dies over on Arch side before the last 2 players make their way up through mid.
I mean, I think, again, with the way that Conquest position themselves there, they just want to try to cause as much chaos as possible and hope that this does sort of open up a hole in one of the sites, which they can then move the bomb into, but really none of them work, and it just ends up looking like a very, very unorganized play, unfortunately.
Nothing doing that round. Well, again, we're going to go right back into another gun round, though. It's going to be AKs across the board here. Actually missing that jump there on the truck side. They were trying to get up on top of that porch balcony outside of truck side, but unfortunately missed that jump. The Molotov, though, Elige is going to get burned out. Actually drops the smoke. Nicely done from him, but he gets tagged as well, so he's down to 38 to start this round out. So that's kind of a detrimental beginning to this one as well. And you wanted to see them go back towards that Banana hallway. Well, they've got 1 player over there to harass. They picked up the bomb at the bottom of this T stairs, but they're going for this kind of standard setup. Again, they've got 2 players in mid, 1 in alternate mid, and 2 in Banana to try to harass and pull that rotation, and it's actually worked. They've got 3 players cheated over here towards this B bomb site right now. And
they've sort of gotten used to this, though, and the fact that the weaknesses that could be occurring on that B site, because they've started to place their rotator, which is going to be Nitro. They've started to place him a little bit closer to the B site, a little bit more preemptively, because they are expecting the pressure to come in here now. So they're going to be ready for this one. And as they move themselves out aggressively, they don't actually expect a player to be back over here. But thankfully, the trades stay even, and now it's up to Liquid to move themselves in and rotate quickly enough as Nitro, he's down at 2 HP, has to hold this, but it's not going to be the case. Shazam takes him. He gets him through the new box there, and now they've got themselves onto the site. We're just seeing one of the players from Liquid get here now. It's going to be a Drent. He might have a shot back over here to maybe take down Rush, but it's not looking likely, and also not expecting a player to be sitting up on top of those barrels. But thankfully, that which would be Shazam, I believe, destacks it, goes back over here into the emo corner. He's not going to peek out of it anytime soon. Rush moves out, but a Dren, he's going to miss the connection, and then Shazam peeks. He finds the first kill, and then Rush finding the final one to close it out. Now again gives Conquest another victory of a round.
And finally, into the last round of the half, actually, Shazam salvages the off of the corpse of a Dren. So this is the first time in the entirety of this half that Conquest has had that off power, and we'll see what Shazam can actually do, because he's 6-10 right now, 5-11 for Daps, but he is their strat caller as well, so we don't typically expect him to be, the top fragger in the server. He kind of lets that happen for Rush and Nath and Shazam to kind of carry the weight of that fragging ability. Stanislaw with the support play as well, and this time they go for the boost. Shazam's up over top of Flower Pot. He might be able to pick down here. Elige is in a forward position as well as Hiko. They pop the flash around the corner, and Elige actually gets himself underneath the porch, but he's going to go for the repeat. He actually taps Shazam down. He's 21 HP, doesn't get the shot off.
And meanwhile, there's been no progress made anywhere else on the map. They're relying on Shazam to find an opening pick here with which they can use to move themselves up Banana, but it's just not the case here to start it off. And actually, Elige, I mean, I harped on him earlier a little bit for having a poor performance, but he's actually done a pretty good job of trying to turn this back around here a little bit in the later portion of the half. So he's actually been doing a great job now of trying to hold this Banana control with Hiko, and those two have actually been a pretty good duo to stop Conquest again from really making any progress on this T side. But it hasn't been so consistent, and Conquest have made enough here to, at the very least, keep things tied until the final round. And now it's going to be up to Conquest to find another opportunity to find their way inside of the A site. Shazam leading that back over here through the mid choke point, but so far not finding anything because of Liquid's more passive hold on this A site.
And look at these rotations as well. They've got 4 players over here in this A bomb site right now. One cheating in CT spawn, just waiting for that push to come back around, but the smoke into CT, that's going to provoke that rotation. I would assume that provokes the rotation, but he's actually pushing back through arch side, so this leaves Elige all by himself, and Dap's doing a great job distracting at A. The push is coming in towards B, and Elige has got so much work to do. He's going to peek out, and Nap drops him, and that's going to leave this bomb site open for business. Hiko, Adren, and Nitro are going to be on the retake, and this is going to be very, very difficult. Now, they've gotten Daps low, they've gotten Shazam low as well, and Dap's just going to sit at the bottom of Banana and wait for any kind of a rotation, but it's coming around through the construction side, and this is actually going to be very favorable here for the Conquest side. They've got a great crossfire in the backside of the site. They've got a great crossfire on the top side of Banana, and they've got that lurker down in mid, and that's going to be it. Nafly with 2, Stanislaw picking up the last. 8-7 for Conquest to go into this second half. Much better performance on their T side than we saw yesterday.
Yeah, Naf continues to be just this huge top fragger here for the guys on Conquest. This is now like the 3rd map out of all 3 where he's been at least the 1st or 2nd top performer here for this team, and it's not just, again, him getting the consistent amount of frags too, it's him making the impact, which actually allows this team to close it out there. He closes out that entire final round basically on his own, doesn't even need the assistance of most of his teammates. And again, you've got to give props to Stanislaw. I've said this before as well, but he's made a huge turnaround from yesterday and is actually making a very big impact here on Inferno now as well.
Now in the second half, I expect to see Conquest. Obviously, Shazam is going to have the AWP more. I expect to see him step up more because he's at 6-10 right now. Stanislaw and Naf are the ones doing the brunt of the work. 13-9 and 13-11 respectively for those 2 players. Now it's not some crazy scoreline where they just go off and drop 20 in the first half, but because of them fragging consistently throughout the half, it's enabled Conquest to get that 1-round lead going into the second half. So they've got a very comfortable cushion, especially on the more favored CT side of Inferno.
Shazam is actually going to be very aggressive here at the beginning of the round. He pushes himself back up to window room, spots some of the action that's going on, but has to fall back to it after he takes a little bit of damage. Not really anything he has to worry about just as of yet, but he gets the intel, and this is what's important. But this is found so early in the round that it's really not going to be usable for quite some time. Liquid are to some degree reacting to this, though, as they were heavily leaning back over on alt middle previously. They've shifted away to this to some degree and are now going to throw some players. More specifically, Hiko and Adren are going to attempt to make an aggressive push back up Banana, while the rest continue setting themselves up for a push to get through Boiler, which is what Elige is doing, and the other 2 are going to make their way in through mid-choke.
Yeah, it's funny how that one little peek has really slowed things down from Liquid because, like you said, they were barreling up that alternate middle, and because of that peek from Shazam, they're going, okay, well, maybe he's kind of thwarted our strategy. He kind of knows this, but smoke comes out on the arch side, and this is actually setting up for that CT wrap play from the terrorist side. But again, they've got no presence in the B side Banana, so they're just going to push this smoke and wrap on Moto, and this is going to be where Shazam has to come up huge. Nafly is going to find one. Shazam does get jumping headshot by Hiko, but coming around the side is going to be a Adren. He's going to get taken down. The CZ doing work right now. Nafly goes for 3, and it's going to be all on Hiko with only 9 HP to try to clutch this out 1v4. He's gotten 1 going for the bomb plant, and that would be a huge plant, but it's going to get denied. Rush coming around from pit side takes him down, and Conquest 2-0 to start off with pistols.
And there's pit again, really, for both teams. I mean, obviously, we've just seen Liquid start off on their T-side at half, but that was a problem for Conquest, too, is sufficiently being able to clear out the pit enough to really take control of the A site. Both teams have now had problems with this one, and it's becoming a real menace for both of our North American entries here in this match.
Yeah, so again, we see that mixed buy here on the Conquest side, but picking up both of those pistols, you know, you basically talk about, for the sake of the argument, getting 6 rounds for free. If Hiko would have gotten that bomb plant, that would have definitely been able to enable that 3rd round buy, but now we see him actually going for the Tech 9 armor buyout here.
If they make this play inside of apartments quickly enough, then Conquest would not be ready for this one. They're still trying to get themselves into positions, but the problem is now we can see Liquid again. They're playing this too slowly. Conquest took a bit of a risk in that, but thankfully this doesn't play out against them.
And again, we do see them getting geared up here for this top mid hit. The bomb is actually on the back of Adren, who's showed it in middle. He's actually up in front by brackets right now. He's going to be joined by 2 of his teammates. And this time it looks like they are going to be setting up for that CT split. And it's going to be all on Shazam over here right now with the FAMAS just tapping away. He goes for the full spray, not going to be able to find it, but they filtered their way on in. And now Daps is in a great position. He's going to be able to find Adren, drops the bomb carrier. They led with the bomb as well. Alish coming around from the backside, going for the spray, and he actually decapitates him as well. Shazam was able to pick off one also, but they do manage to get into the B bomb site, but unfortunately for them, no bomb in hand. It's Hiko and Nitro, your last 2 on the T side.
It's weird that they take the bomb with the group that's like prone to have more trouble overall, where they could just keep the bomb sort of in a safe position back by Banana. We could be looking at a completely different setup, or at the very least we could be looking at Liquid getting maybe a little bit of extra cash from this round had they just kept the bomb with the group moving up Banana, but this is not the case, and now they try to take it around. They're being followed by Conquest this entire time, and it's not like this play was a big secret or anything from Liquid. They're very loud and very vocal about how they approach this wrap through arches and trying to work their way into the B site, so it's quite obvious members of Conquest are going to chase them, and I'm pretty surprised that they themselves didn't sort of figure this out and try to keep the bomb in a safer position.
Not to mention the fact that Hiko actually had a smoke that round, and he was one of the Banana players. So I was kind of confused. I figured they might, you know, with Shazam playing in Library, or at least playing far back there, smoking off Library, that would have, you know, obviously it would have given more of a cue that they were going that way, but they were already, you know, elephant stomping their way up through mid over towards Arch side anyway, so they knew what the play was, but that would have maybe at least stopped a lot of that damage early on and that push from happening. So a little curious about that.
And we can see from Liquid now actually holding themselves back to quite a large degree, because they're basically going to be on nothing this round. They've got nothing to throw at their opponents here, and now they're going to be hoping that someone from Conquest gets aggressive, and they can use this over-aggression to pick up a couple extra guns at the beginning of the round, or even really just one that they may be able to use, but this is a mistake, as now Alish turns his back. He tries to check and see what is going on inside of that bedroom, and Naf's going to have something to say to that. Shoots him right in the back, takes him down. There's going to be the first kill, finding a second too, so they already know apartments, they hold full control of this one, so if Shazam would like to, he can already sort of halfway rotate to B, because things are looking pretty safe for now, and these final 3, even if they do decide to all push in towards the A site, it should be easily holdable by 2 from Conquest.
Yeah, and again, Naf, he's just been a rock here for Conquest throughout this matchup. Picking up 2 more frags at the beginning of this one. It's going to be Stanislaw with the fadeaway shot. He's going to be able to just spray and pray, hold down the D key, and get himself out of dodge. And he actually goes for the repeat and finds Hiko, takes him out. So now we've got a 4-round lead right now for Conquest. At this point, you know, do you think, you know, you're going into your first gun round here. If you lose this, Team Liquid, they should probably start thinking about taking a pause and talking things over, because this could get out of hand very, very quickly if they drop this round.
One thing I haven't really seen from Liquid as of yet is an attempt at sort of a mind game play against Conquest. Now, Conquest have not really shown that they would be thrown off by this as of yet, but this is mainly because Liquid haven't really tried anything where they attempt to do what appears to be a really big fake, but in reality, it's going to be a quick push with, you know, a majority of the players into the site. This isn't a map here on Inferno where if you can get enough control of the site quickly enough while taking down 1 to 2 players, the remaining 3 from the CT side, they're going to have to call a save, because it's such a low chance they can actually move in and make that retake even a big enough possibility to make it worth it. So we haven't seen Liquid attempt to do anything like that as of yet, and because of that, Conquest are just shutting things down time after time again.
Yeah, and this is, you know, I like seeing this because they've kept on the MP9, they've kept on the P90, but they're giving up apartment control, but it's going to be Naflight to open things up. He doesn't realize that there's one in the pit, and Fugly, he's in home right now. He's in the pit. He was able to find that frag, but Adren going to get traded out here. Rush able to find one, and Hiko chimes in onto Shazam. So we're down to a 2 versus 2. Hiko is very low right now at 35 HP, but that bomb moving its way into the site. They haven't accounted for this player on Moto's side. That's going to be Daps. He's going to push through the smoke. He could lock this down, but Hiko hits a ridiculous shot, takes him off the map, and now it's all down to Stanislaw in a 1 versus 2, and these post-plant positions are going to be very strong from the terrorist side. Fugly in pit, like I said, he's made himself back at home, and you've got Hiko inside of the site.
Stan's going to have such a hard time pushing into this one now. You can see he's trying to smoke things off, make this a better attempt for himself. He's even just waiting for Fugly to peek, and this could work out, but he's cross-sprayed by Hiko, and that takes him down there. The good communication that comes out from Liquid and good intuition from Hiko to figure out that he's actually pushing in there. That shuts him out, prevents the 1 versus 2 from happening, and finally here, we see another round getting onto the board from Liquid here on the first gun round for the CT side of Conquest.
Yeah, that was absolutely massive. That last frag, or the second to last frag, Hiko's second of the round, that was massive because if he swings, if he kills Hiko, he's got the planner dead to rights. If he kills the planner, then Hiko's got to recover the bomb and he's got a 1v1 again to win, and he's not going to be able to get into a good post-plant position fast enough, and that player can flank him out from truck side very, very quickly. So a nice job from Hiko, locks it down, gets the 3K on the round, all headshots as well, doing what Hiko does best, controlling those clutches.
Liquid now investigating their options here. A lot of free control of the map being gained here. Nitro, along with Hiko, already managed to push themselves up banana. Conquest did not get aggressive about this at all. In fact, they smoke it very, very early on in the round, as they're just going to go for a more standard hold of that B site. It's somewhat the same story back on the A site. Although they did initially push their players up to stop an immediate rush to the mid-choke point, they've now fallen back and are looking for site control instead, which Liquid are investigating this as well. That bomb is actually still back just outside of T-spawn, so they themselves here from the side of Liquid have not yet made a decision as to where exactly they want to take it, but now they've resolved it. They're going over here towards the B site. However, at the same time, from Conquest, it seems with Stanislaw, along with Daps, may want to try to play this out to some degree. And with Shazam killing the only player that was trying to move in for a bit of a lurk there, Fugly, it's going to be very clear that it's coming directly into this site. But how quickly will Conquest catch on to it is the real question.
Oh, Nitro through the smoke, though, finds Stan. And now Daps is feeling very lonely in the backside of this site. And he's got 4 terrorists to contend with. It's going to be Nitro the first one. Daps goes for the peek, and he loses the battle. Now, no smoke on CT. Shazam actually drops the bomb carrier. They've got 20 seconds to recover that bomb. And a beautiful shot from Hiko. Drops Shazam. That's going to be another frag on the board for Hiko. He's got another headshot this round, and it's going to be down to a 2v3 retake. At this point, the damage has kind of been done. Conquest might want to start thinking about saving at this point, but they're already pretty far up, and that nade does a serious amount of damage. Rush actually going to open things up, so now they can actually get in here and get this defuse. They've got 1 in Banana, 1 in Construction to contend with, and Elige, he's going to lose his life. The last man standing is going to be Hiko. Can he do it? There's another headshot looking for the last man, but he's going to be playing this bait and switch right now, baiting out Naflight, and he's going to get out of dodge, and he's going to run away. So this is going to be around Hiko again with another 2v1 clutch.
And Hiko, a very, very big player from Liquid now. And now the one thing that does come out of that is that Naf sort of tricks Hiko into moving closer into the site, so he's going to be able to drop the gun. But the problem is that for Liquid, again, for the most part here on the T side, things like that can be forgiven. It's a lot easier to build up your economy on the T side and keep it going for the most part. So a death like that and sort of wiping the board clean and forcing all the rebuys is not going to be the worst thing in the world. So Conquest are still sitting on very thin ice, but as well, because Nafly survives, he does get an up and play. And this at the very least is going to add a little bit more of a power weapon here to Conquest in this round.
Yeah, and for those who aren't too familiar with Conquest, they actually do favor, not necessarily on this map, but the double up setup. And Naf is actually the secondary upper, and he's going to show it right here. He finds Liquid pushing aggressively in apartments in the backside of T-Halls, and that is a great opening for him because now they've got that opening pick. Now they can kind of turtle up in the backside of these bomb sites and kind of wait for these pushes to come on in, use these pistols. The CZ75 in the hands of Rush, the automatic pistol, that can be detrimental to a push coming in towards one of these 2 sites.
This is also one thing as of yet that affects a lot of North American teams. We haven't seen, at least in this map, how Liquid are going to react to losing a player early on, and they're already going to just be working their way directly into that B site. Nitro doing some work to get his way into it. Elige finding another frag as well to shut down Naf. And the final 2 in Conquest. This is what I was talking about those quick takes. Again, Liquid, they lose a player, but they're very good on the reactions. This is some great calling, because now they just go directly into the B site. Conquest do not expect this at all, and there's nothing left in terms of a retake these guys can do. Even if they had the proper guns to work with this right now, they have no intel as to the positions of their opponents. They as well don't really have the time. They're just working their way around the map. Shazam is going to look for something, but for Rush, he's picked up an AK now, so he's going to be looking to save that.
Yeah, the big thing was that rotation from Naf came all the way back around to the B-bomb site. He got there just a little bit too late, and he actually got taken down immediately upon arrival, lost the op, so they weren't even able to save that for Shazam in that late game. That's why he went back over to the B-bomb site, A, to do economical damage, and B, to salvage his op to go into the next buy round. But Rush salvaging the AK, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, because that's a gun that they're not going to have to buy when they go into the next gun round. The big thing for me, though, is that their money is still not necessarily stabilized, so they're going to buy up here, but it's going to be a pretty limited buy. You can see the FAMAS in the hands of Daps. He's going to go for the full nade kit, but Shazam's only going to have a flash and a smoke. You've only got double flash smoke on Rush, and he does actually have the AK from last round. He dropped it at the beginning of the round, but he does have the AK, so the utility not the strongest here for the CT side, but on hindsight, they do have 3 kits, which is strong.
Trent's actually going to try the T-side opera here too, which is something that, to be completely honest, you very, very rarely see that from him specifically. He's a player that relies a lot on confidence, I would say, to sort of decide whether he's going to pick up the op or not. And here on Inferno, where it's already very, very complicated for a T-sided opera to even do work to begin with, even if you're a player like Guardian or whatnot, this is a very bold move from him and shows something good from Liquid now to get themselves back into this game and take a lead, that he's actually going to try and attempt this to see how it works.
And again, Liquid, they're keeping that money down on the Conquest side with these round trades, and that's the biggest part about it, the name of the game being the economy, you know, not able to afford a full rifle buy, not being able to afford all the nades to hold off the pushes. And right now, Conquest, they're kind of reeling right now because Liquid has strung together some rounds. They're one round away from tying things up, and they're going for this big distraction at the B bomb site, and there's an early peek. Stanislaw doesn't actually pull the trigger, drops the flashbang out, and he just decapitates Nitro. Nice shot there from First Oranges. He's got one more to contend with. That's Hiku, who's actually worked his way into water that they realize that he's there. Shazam comes out to sweep him under the rug, and look at that. They were actually working the bomb up Banana, but this time they just turn around full force and slow down that push, wait for Shazam to rotate back out and try to take this 2-on-2 at B.
Well, now they've been tripped up to some degree here, too, because they don't exactly know what they're going to be expecting. Stanislaw holding on the other side of the smoke. Now the flash comes in, and it's perfect, but it doesn't stop Stan. He opens things up, finding that headshot onto Elise, but now Adren coming in, finding the trade elsewhere on Adapts, but Stan still holding strong, and with only 10 seconds left, Fugly's going to try to make a push. He's got to get that plant, too, and that's just not going to be possible. Shazam finding that final frag, picks up an additional round here for Conquest, and now we see the pause coming in here from Team Liquid, as things just have not been secured as of yet.
Yeah, and that was an absolutely massive round from Stan. He stood his ground, and he did it very, very well. Got the opening pick. He did the damage to the last player as well, and that was absolutely massive. So, again, we're going to see the pause come out here from Team Liquid. And while we've got a second here, we're going to send it over for some Sato's secrets. Sadakis, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Corey. Yeah, before the game, talked to both teams, and both had similar agendas, great starts, play on momentum. But Conquest in particular was very emphatic about getting pistol rounds. They know that was their success at SIVO. They were successful here in doing that, but they were scared about momentum. They've now lost that slightly. Liquid, on the other hand, back with their full roster. Adren was very key. He said, let's slow it down. We know we've got the skill, but now we can play our game with Elige back in the lineup. That's what they're going to have to do immediately after this pause.
All right, thank you very much, Sadakist. And again, just waiting for things to get unpaused here before we get back into this game. But Liquid now hit a little bit of a slump here. The inconsistency after picking up 3 rounds is going to come into question. And as we were mentioning before here too, their money really never got to a good spot despite these 3 round victories in a row. So we're still looking at this round being one where this is probably something they're thinking about here too, as to whether they could force things up here. There are a couple players in a good position to do it. A couple more could pick up Tech-9s as well. If they let Conquest get themselves up to 13, 14 points now, this is where it's going to start to get dangerous because Conquest is going to hold a very large amount of control. And from that point forward, then it's going to be the trouble for Liquid as getting back into that game, tying it back up, and then claiming the victory from that point forward when Conquest are just that close to finishing off the map.
Yeah, and again, actually, because you're talking about the economy again, the terrorist side, they're actually going to be on a save here. Oh, well, never mind.
No, they go for the force choice.
Yeah, they're going to force up here.
They don't want to let Conquest get too big of a lead. This is the problem because the rounds are traded back and forth. If they juggle them for too long, Conquest is just going to eventually win the map.
Yeah, and this is where it actually gets kind of scary right now is because they're going to empty their bank account. And after losing that round trade, they got 3 in a row and then lost 1 to Conquest. They're going to go for the force up here with a couple of Tech-9s, a Galil, and 2 AKs. The big part about this is they've emptied their bank account. If they lose this round, they're in at least single save territory, maybe even double save territory this late into the game. Obviously, they won't go for the double save because they'll be on 14 rounds to 10. But, you know, it's going to be a very limited buy going into the final couple of rounds of this matchup. But we're back live, guys. And Conquest, again, up 12-10 on their CT side now of DE Inferno. This is map 1 of 3. We've still got Cash and possibly Overpass to round out this BO3.
A lot of action from Liquid early in the round, trying to push themselves up through alt mid to get a little bit of control there. The only player that's worked his way back over through Banana is actually going to be Nitro. You can see, too, that there is a decent presence from Conquest. They're expecting the pressure to come in through here, but this is not going to be the case. Most of Liquid are lining up to get themselves either through mid-choke, or inside of the apartments. But for the members of Conquest, they do have 2 set up here on the A site, and that's going to be their main focus, is just on the site itself. They're not really pushing out against that, with the exception being Naf now, as he's checking out the halls a little bit there to investigate. But to do so with only 1 more teammate on back would be a very risky move, so he's going to have to abandon that pretty quickly.
Yeah, but this is a little bit of that double pit play that we saw be so successful for Liquid in the first half with Nitro and Fugly over in that area. This time it's going to be Rush and Nafly trying to lock it down. 1 up on balcony, 1 playing behind truck. We'll have to see how this one pans out because it does look like they're going to be getting pressured over here at A. Shazam with this up. If he gets smoked off here from Library, it's going to be very difficult, but it looks like the pressure is actually going to be coming around that Molotov doing so much damage. Adren's down to 67, but they're already up on truck side. Nap is going to be able to spray down 1, finds the second one as well, and Rush chimes in. Shazam as well. Nitro goes into Rush. Nitro's going to be able to find a second, but Nafly, again, that double pit play so very strong, and that is going to be a 13th round now for Conquest, and look at the money for Liquid.
Hiko comes out too late. That's the biggest problem there. Hiko Hiko's sitting himself on the hall for so long, he allows Naf. Naf actually, I believe it's Naf anyway, there's a lot of chaos that goes on that round. Naf actually starts himself off up on the balcony there. That would have been a prime position for Hiko to just run right out while he's distracted on the push coming in over towards truck side to push out and stop him from even picking up any kills in the first place. But he waits back, he allows his opponent to pick up 2 frags, and then he comes back out and he doesn't even manage to take him down, is the unfortunate factor. So that's a bit of a mistake being made there, just on the communication aspect of Liquid, as the support structure for the entire team on the T side is not there, and it cost them a round because of that, which would have otherwise been a very good execute.
Yeah, so we're seeing a potential 14-10 scoreline here if Conquest is able to execute this anti-eco round, which they shouldn't have too much problem. It's only a couple of upgraded pistols here, no armor to speak of, 2 smokes and a flash, so it looks like they're going to be hitting this B bomb site. Smoke to CT, maybe a smoke to spools as well, but that Molotov is going to hold him back, and actually Fugly pushes on through. Stanislaw is there, he is ready to rock and roll, and the rest of his teammates actually get separated behind that Molotov. They actually get the lurk over in the A bomb site, so they've only got the last 3 players here in Banana, and you can see they're still mollied off. They're going to go ahead and push right on through, and now we're going to see those frags come raining out blue.
Liquid trying to work their way in sneakily, but it's just not going to work. Daps and Stanislaw picking up those 2 kills. Finally, there was something else coming out from Hiko, but ultimately, again, the gun power is just too much in the favor of Conquest. They roll right through there, finish them off, and Liquid now have to try and go for another buy here. They took the risk previously, does not pay off, and now they're actually facing against their worst fear, which is Conquest getting as large of a lead as they exactly wanted to try and avoid. So this force not going to be looking so good. They've got enough smokes to make an entry for, and decent molly count too, but in terms of flashbangs and whatnot to actually try and get through those smoke setups they may have to work against, it's going to be very, very brutal indeed. And for Conquest, they're still stacked up to the teeth here. They've got the op. Again, Shazam even has a pistol to go with this as well, so everybody on Conquest is looking really good right now. And if they pick this one up, this is going to be the end of it, as Liquid's still really not going to have a very good buy going into what could possibly be that final round.
Yeah, and this is Stanislaw's actually got to get himself out of there. He's lucky that Nitro didn't take that peek on the corner, but this is the first time on the CT side for Conquest that we've seen Naf actually boosted up on top of porch side. And with the Liege coming out here through the boiler side, this might spell disaster for them early on in this round. As you can see, Shazam's actually pushing up, getting behind the smoke. They're actually going to smoke off the arch side. He drops the Molotov right in front of Liege, but it fizzles in the smoke. And Liege comes out on a pop flash, and he's going to be able to find Nafli. So that opens things up here in this A bomb site. They've only got Rush and Shazam to contend with. Arch side is open. Nitro actually down to 4 HP, gets spammed out through the smoke at the B bomb site. The bomb is still all the way back at T ramp with 45 seconds. Team Liquid has to go back, retrieve that bomb, and make a push. And it looks like they want to go for that CT wrap again. And Shazam, he's pretty. He's going to find the first one, looking for the second one. That's going to be Fugly. He misses the shot by pinches, and Fugly's going to be able to find that kill.
Now Hiko and the rest of Liquid trying to push their way into the B site, but the problem is 30 seconds left. They still have not cleared this out, and there's going to be another player rotating back over from A. They know exactly how this is being played out, and they're set up perfectly for this too in terms of how Liquid is taking their entries. Stanislaw is stuck back here. They may try to smoke him back out, and this is a good smoke that comes in here too, but it also gives Stanislaw a little bit of room to breathe. However, the final 2 players do get knocked out, so Stan has got to be the champion here. Rolls back out. Fugly is going to spawn him with that spray transfer. He's going to grab both Fugly and finishing off Adren as well, but now he's at 2 HP, and he's going up against one of the better players from Liquid so far, which is going to be Hiko, but he sticks this defuse. Is he going to be able to grab it? Thankfully, no. Hiko shuts him back out, and that's going to be Liquid again, saving their butts here as they keep themselves in this game with a round pickup.
What a hero play from Stanislaw that almost was. You know, he's going to look back at that. If he got there a second earlier, he would have dropped the bomb planter, and I don't think he would have had time to get that bomb plant. He could have actually fallen back to construction and actually won that round.
Even assuming that doesn't happen too, if that smoke had been thrown down maybe a second or 2 later, that probably might have been enough for him to obscure it, and Hiko, there's a chance he could have missed the shot there, and he could have actually gotten the ninja defuse.
A lot of what-ifs in the end of that round.
Very, very close indeed, but again, Conquest are not out of it just as of yet here. Liquid themselves still have to worry because they're going to be on a very, very short buy once again, still basically emptying out the bank accounts. And as for Conquest now, them too, they're going to be on the edge of this one. So Liquid, now they're trying to restructure control of this one, get themselves back into this game. And so far, they're doing a great job of this one, finding kills left and right. It's already brought down to just Stanislaw and Daps here on the CT side.
This is a huge round too, because if they win this on the Liquid side, it's going to force Conquest back onto a save. And we could be seeing a 13-14 scoreline, and Liquid stealing back the momentum, getting themselves back into this. And you can see the 2 CTs that remain, Stanislaw and Daps, they're not moving. They want nothing to do with this retake right now. So they're going to sit over here by the B bomb site and try to hang on to these weapons for the next round because they know that that economy is broken. They're going to try to win this on the back of a FAMAS and an M4 next round.
These are those quick takes that I was talking about previously. This is exactly what happens with Liquid. They work this perfectly, and for Conquest, there's just not enough time to react to that, to get themselves rotated over. So it's a quick take from Liquid. They get full site A control, and for the 2 remaining members on Conquest, it's going to be about saving, keeping these rifles in play, and trying to get as big of a buy as possible here on what could be Liquid's 13th round pickup.
Yeah, So moving forward here, we're going to go into the 27th round of map number 1 here on Inferno. And again, watching the replay, I mean, Elise just comes up and destroys Rush in that situation. And Fugly, his teammate right in tow behind him, gets that trade to open up that A bomb site and prevent any rotation from coming out from the Conquest side. So we're going to see this. They actually buy up another rifle behind this, pardon me, they don't actually buy up another rifle behind this. So they're going to just take these 2 rifles that they saved from last round and move forward into this one on Conquest. And if they're actually able to win this round on Conquest side, that's going to be a massive blow to Liquid. Not only does it put them on map point, but to do it on the back of 3 saving players with 2 rifles that they salvaged from the round before, that's just a big blow to the ego.
The risk that Conquest are taking right now is huge with this 4-stack on the B site, because if Stanislaw does not do a good job of really making them think that, again, there's the usual setup coming over here, then it's going to be rough. But this opening back over here in the long hall, back inside of the apartments, it works wonders. They are falling back. The bomb has now been recommitted back over here, and Stan's going to peek things once again. Not just this, but he finds a kill onto a leash. This is probably the best case scenario here for Stan. The big question is, though, do Team Liquid realize, okay, this is the same player twice. What's going on? That's a pretty big open, wide area where, you know, there should have been a second player there to support that. But they're going to commit anyway, and this could be the trap sprung now from the members of Conquest. They've got to come out on top there and pick up these kills, and so far they're not. A trade start things off as Nitro takes down Rush, or Nitro takes on Naf, apologies, but then Rush coming back in there with 2 kills. Daps finishing off the other 2, and Conquest shut it back down, and that's going to be them on match point now.
That round was basically won by Stanislaw, doing such a great job in the A bomb site, filtering them back, basically forcing them to go over towards that B bomb site, and they walk into that stack, and it is done, executed perfectly. Rush with 2 silent USP kills to open things up, and Daps with the other rifle. And now look at this. Look at how that economy has swung on the CT side, because not only did they have that M4 at the previous round, but they pick up 4 AKs to move forward as well. That is a huge swing.
Liquid again are back on a very, very stringent one here, and we can see grenades that are coming out from Conquest actually land almost directly sitting on Nitro there. They almost take him down. He's down at 34 HP now. They'll be looking for a response to this, but won't be able to pick things up at the beginning of the round. However, this pressure, once again, Liquid have been very prone to react to things such as this, so they may end up getting pushed back, and we'll have to recommit to an A push as well. But this is, again, it's going to be very well set up from Conquest this time. Now they've got the good guns back out of their hand. They're ready to just go back to the normal setup, the 3-2 split. And Conquest, for the most part here, they haven't really had too many issues with their A-hole just as of yet. And there's going to be Naf now opening things up, finding that kill back over towards the long haul, shutting down Fugly. But he does take a decent amount of damage to it, dropped to 39 HP. However, with Nitro already down at 34 as well, it still very heavily favors Conquest, at least in terms of the health pools.
Yeah, and that's really, really a strong start here for Conquest's side. I mean, obviously no trade being made. That shuts down any kind of pressure that's going to come from the apartment side. Now going for this big peek in mid. Shazam actually, he gets a lot of information out of that, even though he perishes in that gunfight. But they've smoked off the arch side. They could go for the wrap on this one again from the CTs, but they've got pressure onto truck side as well. So they're going to go right around to the backside of the site. Nafly is going to fall. The pit player is out. That's Alish coming up big. Alish actually checking that corner, but he falls back at the wrong time. It's going to be on Rush. Can he get it done? He cannot. Adren is going to be there for the trade, but it's Daps coming around from mid. He drops the bomb carrier. He's got more work to be done, but there's a TK on the board. Hiko gonna get taken down by Nitro. It's down to a 1v1. Stanislaw versus Nitro, and Stanislaw coming around from the apartment hallways. This could be a massive
before he even gets to a safe spot. There we go. It's done for. That's going to be Conquest picking up map number 1 here and easily being defeasible by Stanislaw. They're going to close things out, and the final score is going to be 16-12 in their favor.
Absolutely massive plays in the last 2 rounds by Stanislaw, forcing that push up towards Banana for that anti-eco victory for the Conquest side. And he actually ends up at 24-16, somebody whose name we didn't really get to say a whole lot during the Fnatic matchup. Stanislaw steps up in a big way for his squad, and you can see obviously a little bit of disappointment here on the Liquid side, but we're going to gear up for map number 2. But let's talk about this. We're going to send it over to our analyst desk, and actually out of the 4 of you, only 1 was right, and that was Sean. Take us away, Machine.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Mega Man. Thank you very much. Sean, you are pretty damn predictable when it comes to... Predictable? That makes no sense. No. Pretty damn good at these predictions. There we go. As so far, 100% success rate of the ones you have done on the couch. I guess it helps.
I wish I could say the same for everyone else at this time.
Oh, Sean. Yep.
Do you want to play this game? I just showed restraint. I'm a mature adult.
The gloves are off. The gloves are off. No, it's happened, evidently. But
okay,
yeah, you called Conquest to pick that one up, and you explained very articulately why. You suggesting there were some holes in both teams in Inferno, but more so Liquid. Did that kind of play out as you expected?
Yeah, I mean, Conquest took the opening pistol, got the first gun round, exploited the exact weaknesses I was talking about. They were able to, because they were able to rush up places, unlike they were against Fnatic, where Fnatic used grenades properly. Liquid doesn't do that. And it's just a North American thing.
So what nades are they? What nades are absent?
Well,
I mean, just smokes to cut off instant hits, nades, Molotovs.
Right.
They try to save their nades, or they'll use them unnecessarily. Like one round, Delige was stuck at the sandbag. Sandbag got mollied, and instead of just running out, he dropped the smoke in it while running out. So he wasted his smoke, which made the B-bomb state weak for a late hit. Just like little things like that that a European team would never do.
Yeah,
or some variety on the CT side. I mean, they had the money. You know, they were able to get the money, but every time they were doing the same thing. Like they would every time throw Molotovs into Banana. Every time, even with, it just seemed like watching, no thought behind the process. Like, hey, maybe we're going to change up how we hold the pattern this time. I don't know. It was a very...
How you feeling, Jason?
You're so nervous to ask that question.
I don't want to ask it because you were very vocal during that game.
Yeah, I was trying to hold back now that we're live.
Yeah.
And everything. But I mean, just so many weird rounds. Like that round that when like Conquest is terrorists and 5 Tech-9s get into CT spawn against 5 CTs that are still alive, and they like completely switch.
And then the triple retake from
Banana. And it's just like what is going on, right? Like how is this even possible?
All I was saying was like, hey guys, it's opposite day. We're the terrorists now.
Wait, obviously the casters didn't get the memo that was the plan. Yeah,
and then
so
it's
weird.
All part of the plan.
And like,
part of the plan.
there's that heartbreak too. Like you're actually making a comeback, and then you run away from the A bomb site that has 1 M4 in it, and you go right into a stack at B. You're going against 2 rifles and 3 USPs, and you lose it to that. Like.
Yeah.
That M4 was Stanislaw as well. That's the one that I want to bring up. This frag,
kill.
that's it.
This is it.
And it's like that 1 kill was so important because Team Liquid is just like, we gotta run away.
50%.
We have no other options anymore.
Exactly.
And I mean, it happened. There was. It happened just time and time again, just weird questionable decisions where they sent 2 people into B that were supposed to be a fake and have 3 men hit the A bomb site. They already had bracket control, and they never aggressed onto the A bomb site even though they forced the rotation, and then they come back towards Banana where they have absolutely nothing because the 2 players are already dead, and then it's just another weird situation where it's like, why are you putting yourselves into these spots?
Yeah, that match could have gone way worse for Liquid if Hiko didn't come up huge in several rounds.
Yeah.
He had such a phenomenal game for a map that they just lost 16-12, 13. What was the final score? 16-11?
16-11.
Yeah. I mean, without Hiko's 4 rounds or so, they probably get beat 16-8.
Yeah.
And this was the point that you had made before, Jason, the Hiko effect, where his presence alone obscures the actual the loss for Liquid. Like these extra rounds that he manages to acquire can sometimes make games look closer than they actually were.
Yeah, it's gonna look cool looking at the scoreboard, but that game is actually atrocious for Liquid.
Right.
And I mean, let's give some credit to Conquest, though. It was a very well put together game by them. I thought NAF had some good rounds. I think Elige definitely needs to show up in the next game. But there was some good performances on the Conquest side.
NAF and Stanislaw, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Stanislaw really actually had quite a few good rounds. This is one that's showcasing NAF. But it felt like, to me, more often than not, I was seeing Stanislaw really come up with the 1-2 frags that were turning things around for Conquest.
Lurking in smokes in the B-bomb site, hit really key frags, held down. Entire map, pretty much run. Every few rounds, Stanislaw came up huge.
You had some criticism, actually, regarding communications for Conquest. Like, it wasn't all kind of sunshine and rainbows for them. It felt like there was almost this air of criticism while playing. Like, that's something that you need to kind of remove, and not something we see so often.
Yeah, it was something that Sean and I were discussing.
Yeah.
It's when, and this is something that we get to listen to. It's fun because for a while we had the comms in the stream, so we had the comm stream, so we could listen to these sorts of things. You get so much information off of that, but it's still frustrating to hear that there's a reproachful tone in the voice sometimes when something goes wrong, and it's like, why didn't you tell me that, or why didn't you look? And it's like it's an accusation, It's not just communicating information so that your teammate can go. It's just like, well, why did you mess up? And it's like, oh, no.
There's also the tone, because I've noticed this as well. Like, you can actually say the same call. Like, there's one top A. Whereas if the way you deliver what you're saying as well.
Acting skills here.
Yeah.
Okay, hit me the other side. Hit me the other side.
What? So the way you'd call it normally. Hang on. Let me do a proper one. So one balcony. Those are my words. Okay. One balcony. So I could go. Oh, it's one balcony. Right. I'm annoyed. I've died. One balcony. Or you go. It's one balcony. There's one balcony, Nitro. And that's.
That was so British. That was amazing.
Was it British? I thought that was very.
There's one balcony, Nitro.
Oh, bloody hell! Bloody hell! Bother! Oh. Tiddlywinks. He's on balcony.
Wow.
Golly gosh.
Has anyone actually said that word in the past?
Tiddlywinks is a game. You're not aware of Tiddlywinks?
Yeah,
Not
Tiddlywinks
aware.
is fun.
Yeah, you know.
But there was a
I'm
game
not
that's called
aware.
Bones.
Not
or something
aware
like
of
that. Have you heard of
Bones,
this?
yeah.
Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, where you play Bones
I don't
and one
think
of them
I'd
is painted
ever play a
red.
game called Tiddlywinks.
This is it. Well, we should start casting bones.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's
man.
do it. Anyway, let's talk about map 2.
Tiddlywinks.
We need to talk about map 2, guys. Turn our attention to
Better
the
than
second
NACS.
map. Oh, Tiddlywinks eSports. Someone make it happen,
Too
please.
easy.
We need to talk about map 2, and my mind has just gone completely back. Cash, there I am.
Yeah.
Whoa, just a little bit of brain lag. Cash is going to be our second map, a map, of course, chosen by Liquid, and the main criticism that we made in the initial segment was you think that that map should not have gone through, Sean.
I think they probably should have picked Overpass. I mean, it doesn't matter now. They have to win them both.
Yeah.
But if they would have picked Overpass, it would have been a free win for them, my ass.
What? Explain your answer. I'm like an examiner
I mean,
now.
their Overpass is by far the best in North America. I mean, they have such a vast array of strats. They have a slow default going towards A. They have several hits at the B-bomb site. I mean, Liquid's just really, really good on T-side Overpass. And their CT side is filled with weird pushes all across the map, so teams that run defaults get picked apart.
Okay, so that's what you've got to kind of watch out for if it does go to a third map. I
Yeah.
do want to kind of like break down a little bit about Cash. It's a map that's definitely one of the more regularly seen maps in the North American scene. You always mention this kind of North American map pool, and Cash is as a mainstay there. So, I mean, I assume this is going to be one of those kind of domestic matchups that plays very kind of similarly to all Cash games.
Well, I mean, this map has always been one of Liquid's favorites, like for a long, even before Hiko joined the roster. They've just been pretty good at it in North America, and part of that stems, and I mentioned this, like usually every time Liquid plays it, is Fugly and Nitro have been playing that A-bomb site like forever together, and they do a really, really good job together ever since like January, I think, actually, when they first saw like crush CLG on this map. But they've just throughout the year, their defense in that bomb site, they work very, very well. They now have Hiko anchoring that B bomb site, and he's a very good anchor player, as well as, you know, rotating over towards A. You know, very good at clutches, obviously. So, I mean, they have some very good stuff on this map.
Yeah. So I think that if Conquest wants to win this map, they need to do dry hits on the A-bomb site. And that sounds crazy.
And crude.
Yeah. Like they need to literally just walk in and take the aim battles, because Adren will not op A very often. He's just going to be opping mid, he's going to be opping towards B sometimes, but they won't be encountering oppers quad. They're going to be encountering really passive players like Fugly and Nitro over at the A-bomb site. And if they just walk out and take those aim battles and get those picks, then smoke highway and take the A-bomb site, that's how they're going to win. If they smoke highway first, Nitro and Fugly do a very good job of using the grenades to filter you into spots where they can pick 1 or 2 off.
I love it when he flicks the switch and all of a sudden just drops knowledge bombs on us. Just like just you know, he doesn't like to throw too much at us. Doesn't like to treat us too much, otherwise we'd get used to it. But I mean, that was gorgeous. Okay, so are we gonna have to see then the predictions, boys? We're gonna see a third map. That's it. Are we gonna see Overpass? We're going to see Conquest pick this one up in 2.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Overpass. I think Liquid's going to take this. I mean, Conquest got their first map, the one they wanted, but like at what cost? I still think the bans were a little bit weak for them, so letting these last 2 maps slip through, I think was a big blunder on their part.
Okay. August?
I don't
see
know.
You're literally looking at both the teams, like trying to make a decision.
Flip a coin. This is where you have a coin.
Is this where you're at right now, 50-50?
Do I like blue or red?
I feel like I'm about to enter the Matrix, right? I have to have one of those pills, you know?
Right.
And which one is going to wake me up from this nightmare?
No chill.
This is just, no chill, thank you.
To be honest, like what I
rock,
saw
paper,
from Liquid on
scissors?
Inferno was really intensely, deeply frustrating. So I'm kind of really having trouble throwing my weight behind them on the second map.
Playground, bro. Just
Nitro's playground.
Yeah.
Nitro's. Okay. Liquid will take the second map.
There it goes.
United we
little
stand.
worm tongue in your ear. Finally then, you're going to see a third?
Yeah, Liquid's going to win this map. Alicia's going to have a huge map. He always plays insanely good on Cash. Makes really good pushes at CT. Very aggressive rifler on T side, and especially entering the B bomb site. So he's going to have a big half. I think Hiko and Elige play great at the B bomb site together, as well as Fugly and Nitro do at the A bomb site. There's no way Conquest is going to be entering the sites.
Okay,
then.
so high expectations for Liquid then into our second map in this best of 3 as the 2 North American teams battle for survival and trying to get a step closer to that $250,000 prize pool. It's time for me to introduce your casting pair then for map 2. It's going to be on Cash and it's Mega Man and Blue. Take it away.
All right. Thank you very much once again, Machine.